This is Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z.
Hello again, everybody. It is Dan Zehr from Coffee with Kenobi. I know I said I was taking a little bit of a break from podcasting, and then something happened. I was among a very fortunate group of individuals in the media to attend Disneyland Seasons of the Force event. This is the first day of the event. I have had an amazing experience, a lot of walking, a lot of eating, a lot of riding, and I want to bring you along. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to go on Hyperspace Mountain, which is Space Mountain with a Star Wars overlay. We're going to go on Rise of the Resistance, a spectacular attraction. Takes probably about 20 minutes. I'm sure a lot of you listening have heard it. We're going to go on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. And then, of course, we're going to attend Star Tours. One of the things I love about Disneyland is that while in Walt Disney World, the attractions for Star Wars, namely Galaxy's Edge and Star Tours, are in Hollywood Studios, here everything is in Disneyland, where, for those of you who are Floridians, you know Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom are sort of part and parcel, similar to one another, but Disneyland is so much different. And one of the reasons, I'm so excited about this is my brother has come along, Sean Zehr. He has not been to Disneyland since 1979. He is an experienced, seasoned expert in Walt Disney World. Disneyland is something new and exciting. So, Sean, welcome back to the show. It's been a while.
Hey, how are you doing today?
So tell us overall, kind of, what has it been like to come to Disneyland? What were your expectations like, and how's it met those expectations?
I would say it has far surpassed anything that I would expect. Disneyland is amazing. I've had a great time today with you, Dan, and walking around the parks and Disney, or downtown Disney. And the rides are better to me than some of the rides in Florida. The Pirates of the Caribbean is amazing. Mr. Toad is a ride I've liked since I was little, and I've just had an amazing time.
So yeah, Mr. Toad that was actually the first thing we rode at Disneyland. We got here a little early yesterday and we're staying at the Disneyland Hotel, which is a spectacular place. And of course, all the travel and accommodations that we used courtesy of MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I cannot thank Becky and her team enough for helping to make this easier for us. We booked everything. We were not hosted. We did this out of excitement and enthusiasm for wanting to experience what Disneyland has to offer, and the Disneyland experience has been so much better, so much easier, so much more accommodating because of MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Of course, go to coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefan travel to book your Disneyland vacation. There's really no better time as a Star Wars fan than to experience Seasons of the Force. There's going to be so much more. I'm going to have some interviews, going to be some audio from some really cool brand new experiences, and of course, immediate comments on sort of the fun and things we're going to learn here at Disneyland. So much more to come. As they say, see you real soon. So what a treat. Here we are at the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Seasons of the Force media event. I'm here with the one and only Mike Siglain. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to see you. You, of course, are constantly spinning lots of plates in the world of publishing.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but no one tells a story like you. What do you have coming up that you're really excited about?
We have a lot of stuff coming up that we're excited about. You know, we're here for a Season of the Force to talk about High Republic and celebrate both Season of the Force and High Republic. So, you know, our big thing is next week, Into the Light, is Claudia Gray's final High Republic novel. She did an amazing job with it. I think people who have read from the beginning will dig it. I think people who are just coming to it now will dig it. And the thing I will say to that is, for all of our final novels, each of the initial authors who started it are finishing it, but if you go back to their first books, you'll see a direct line to the last books, which is really fun.
And that in the business is what we call a hook. Yeah,
Nice.
That sounds fantastic. Well, of course, we've all been here at the beginning with the High Republic. It must be so incredibly edifying for you to see how much all of us as fans of literature, as fans of this mythology, it is. I feel like it's catapulted us to a whole new place.
It's surreal. It's overwhelming, and it is all because of the fans. And we cannot thank them enough. We would not be here if it wasn't for the support of the fans. And I've said it before, but it really does mean more than anyone realizes. To me, to the authors, to the editors, to the designers, to the artists, like it means the world to us. So thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's an absolute pleasure. It just keeps giving back to us. As we near the end, which I'm very excited about what's going to happen. Of course, we don't do spoilers on the show, and I don't like spoilers anyway, so it's a very easy transition. But how are we going to get to see Cavan and Charles mess with each other?
Look, it's the end of this particular story. It is not the end of the era, and it is not the end of our relationships with these amazing authors. And you'll certainly be seeing more in the days to come.
It makes me very happy to say that. And people listening, of course, it's an audio podcast, but Mike, you'd always glow when you talk about these authors, when you talk about the High Republic. Again, it's so much fun because Star Wars, of course, we had the Legends line, and then things slowed down, and we had a new era with Disney and Star Wars publishing. And the High Republic has brought us so many great characters. I know it's probably like saying, who's your favorite kid? But are there certain characters that you still sort of think about and you're just so proud of them? You just enjoy their experiences?
I'm proud of all of them. Whether it's the Jedi, the Nile, the Nameless, what these authors have been able to bring into a galaxy far, far away is extraordinary. To think that there are readers now who can see themselves as Jedi that have never been able to do that before. To think that we've been able to create new planets and new creatures and add to the mythology that George Lucas created that we all love is, like I said before, it's really overwhelming. It's surreal. There is no favorite. They are all favorites. And I'm excited about people still finding it in the days and weeks and months and years to come.
I would say the guy that I was the least sure about, who's now maybe my favorite, is Elzar Mann.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's interesting. Yeah, a lot of this was fully planned out from the very beginning. We may have shifted a couple things in terms of when they happened, but most of this was set from the start. Elzar was one that he was always sort of the black sheep of the High Republic.
Right. And I think he would probably embrace that title.
I think very much so. I think you will enjoy, if you're an Elzar Mann fan, you will absolutely enjoy Trials of the Jedi.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. And then you get to see legacy lightsabers that are from this era. I mean, that's pretty cool. And of course, the Acolyte.
We got to see legacy lightsabers. You go into Doc Ondar's and there's Stellan Gios's. What are you guys doing?
We're getting some footage of you getting talked to.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. It's the High Republic authors interrupting the interview. You go to Doc Ondar's and you see High Republic merchandise there. We were in Oga's and they had a High Republic drink today. And it's amazing to see how it's gone beyond the printed page, right? We've been publishing books for 4 years now, working on it a lot longer. In 4 years, we've now had VR, live action, animation, games, merchandise, and it all came from books and comics.
Right.
And that is unbelievable.
Yes. Not only as a fan, but as a literature teacher, this is what it's all about. I would think if you're a creator, to imagine your work coming to life in so many different mediums, it's pretty great. Well, Mike, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. I'm really happy that we got a chance to get you on the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Anytime. Happy to do it. I'm glad to bump into you, my friend.
Come in. I have an opportunity for you all that is very dangerous. I was going to say profitable. You think I'm so heartless I would send my friends into danger?
We're here with Matt Martin, my good buddy. That's exactly right. How are you, dude?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. So, I got this email about the Seasons of the Force media event, and it said there was going to be someone from Lucasfilm there, and instantly my heart grew 3 sizes, just like it, the Grinch. Tell me about what's going on here today.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about Season of the Force, which is kind of now our annual big Star Wars event where we have some kind of big new things, including Shadows of Memory, the Star Wars Saga, which is our really cool new projection show on the Spires, as well as introducing, a guy you may have heard of, Luke Skywalker, will be, he's making a visit to Batuu, and you might be able to meet him.
Actually, I know his uncle better than I know Luke. So this new show, what can we look forward to? And I'm assuming because it's here, it has to do with the overall story.
Yeah, it's really cool because it's kind of telling the Star Wars story as a myth within Star Wars. So Tohan Lage, the lore weaver, which you might remember from the fireworks show, from the Fire of the Rising Moons show, is here to kind of tell the story. There's a really cool hologram that you'll see of him as he kind of starts the story and brings you through kind of start to finish, from Anakin to Luke and Leia, their story in this kind of really unique and really cool visual way.
Really? I'm excited to see that. And the fireworks, is this the same fireworks that Batuu West is famous for, or is it different?
This is the same fireworks show that we started last year. So we launched the fireworks show last year. We launched Shadows of Memory this year. And the two really work together because they are both kind of tied together with that lore weaver character who kind of guides us through both. So they're independent kind of experiences, but together they do work very as kind of a piece.
That's really cool. And then when it did I see online? I think you posted it, some new VR thing coming.
Oh yeah. It's actually mixed reality, which is really interesting. Called Beyond Victory. It was just announced. Was that yesterday?
I think so.
And I don't remember all of the things that were in the announcement, so I don't know what I am actually allowed to talk about other than...
I saw a picture.
Yeah, there's a picture, and I know it will be playable at Star Wars Celebration, so if you're at Celebration, please stop by the Isle and Immersive booth. Check it out. It is something... It's hard to explain because it's not like anything I've ever experienced before, much less worked on, but it is a new original Star Wars story that involves racing and fun stuff.
Right. And hey, I love you. I have all your records. Can't wait to chat again.
Thank you. Good to see you, as usual.
So as a surprise twist, which seems appropriate since I'm with who I am, I'm with the Star Wars The High Republic authors. Everyone, it's great to see all of you. What can you say about what's coming up next?
So many things, but we can't say a single word about them. Other than the fact it's fantastic.
Thanks, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you later.
Okay.
I should probably ask you, I'm sure you're very, very excited. You get to start it. You get to wrap up this portion of it. It's got to be an amazing feeling.
It truly is. Trials of the Jedi just got finally locked for publication on Monday. I sent in my last little, please put a comma here. It was a very important comma. You'll all know it when you see it. So that's out June 17th. And I feel very, my emotions are very mixed about it because it's a huge project. I'm glad to be done with it and be very proud of it. But man, I'm going to miss things like this, like hanging out with all these High Republic people and, the fans and the way it all feels. Not that it can't feel this way again, but it definitely feels like something's going to change when the last book is out. But I would have it no other way.
And you may not notice, but I'm a high school composition teacher, so I respect this comma situation that you're talking about.
It's crucial.
Yes, it is. And George, what about you? What are you most excited about?
I'm excited to read it, actually. I've waited. I mean, there's the opportunity to read it in an earlier draft, but I thought I'd wait and see the finished thing and, find out how Charles has taken everything over the finish line.
Yes, and what can you say about your new book?
About Tears of the Nameless.
Yes.
So that's it's kind of the dark night of the soul. It's the of the High Republic. It's the where everything starts to kind of look bleak, but then there's that streak of hope that you always get in Star Wars as they kind of come out towards the end of the book, trying to figure out what they have to do next and lead into what's the other guys are writing.
Absolutely. And I got to ask you, are you going to feel a sense of relief that Cavan isn't going to harass you on panels anymore? I hope it still lasts, though.
All of the stuff we do, all those little bits, all the back and forth, all of the enmity or whatever you want to call it, the hatred, the pain, It's all just because we really legitimately care about each other and have grown to really feel like we're a family. You know,
Absolutely.
It's the real Star Wars thing. The found family happened to all of us here in the High Republic, and it's one of the best things about it.
And I'm really looking forward to reading Light of the Jedi because I've heard it's great. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah. People told me I should, but I thought I'll get to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Republic's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I've just read the Wikipedia. You know, it's
It would certainly help the editors if you would read it.
Yeah, everyone really, but yeah, I mean, I'll get around to it one day.
So how about you, ladies? What are you most excited about? I know you've got something pretty exciting coming up.
Yeah, my final book in the High Republic, which is crazy to say, Into the Light, that comes out on Tuesday. You know, what is that, 3 days from now, 4 days from now? That is so surreal to me, but you know, I'm very happy about the characters I'm getting to revisit. I'm very happy about these story beats, you know, and, you know, I too am excited for Trials of the Jedi because, like, this has been a really fun adventure, but we also understand there's a lot of reading material in the High Republic, and it feels good knowing we've invited people on this long journey and that we're taking them somewhere that is worth that journey, because I very much do feel that. I feel like they're going to be repaid and then some.
Oh,
you know?
that's again what we call a hook. I love that. And what about you?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I think the ending of the High Republic is so deeply emotional and beautiful, and I mean, I feel like I'm being a little silly here, but I also am so excited to read this final version of this final book. I have a comic coming out, The Battle of Eriadu, which wraps up some big character arcs from the middle grade book that Daniel Jose Older and I co-wrote, Escape from Valo.
Yes, which I love.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that's a very, very special book to me, and this is a very, very special comic to me. So that comes out on April 30th, I think. I can't wait.
That's good. And Zoraida, beware the nameless. I think that's good advice. What can you say about your book?
Well, I've been really excited, and my first novel contribution to the Star Wars universe was actually a novel set in Batuu, and so like to be back here celebrating this and like the ending of the era is really wonderful and special. And I did get to revisit Churro the Hutt in my last contribution for the High Republic, which was The Adventures of Churro the Hutt, a one-shot comic for the annual. So that was really special for me.
Well, it's special for me to get to see all of your happy, smiling faces, and I can't wait to see what the High Republic is going to bring us. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I hope you enjoyed those interviews. What a fun experience this has been. I've been very fortunate to go to a lot of these media events, but I didn't know what this one was going to be like. I knew Seasons of the Force was spectacular. I know that our dear friend Colby Mead covered it for Coffee with Kenobi last year to perfection. So there was some pretty big shoes to fill, I must say. And he told me how much fun it was. But I feel like, and of course, I think you'll understand this, there's something about actually doing it in person it's just the way to go, right? You can watch the videos, they're great, and they give you some good ideas. But there's something about being in Disneyland and meeting Luke Skywalker. Yes, that's right. I said meeting Luke Skywalker. That is so special. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. I will say that tonight we had the media event. It was actually behind to the right of the Millennium Falcon. There's a cast member area, and it was sealed off for the media event. We got to talk to all of the authors of the High Republic. What a nice surprise that was. Catch up with Mike Siglain. Of course, catch up with my favorite, Matt Martin. And then later, we were able to go and get something to eat. We went to Docking Bay 7, had a wonderful meal, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And then what we got to do was walk around and just experience more of the wonder that is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Batuu. And then they had us go back. If you've ever built a lightsaber at Savvy's workshop, there's this beautiful courtyard by that tree with the ribbons on it. I should know the exact name, but, it's been a long day. And we waited in line, and here comes Luke. So I got to get some video with Luke Skywalker. And what do you say when you meet your heroes, right? I had some little ideas of things I wanted to say, but I went up there. He introduced himself to me. Hi, I'm Luke Skywalker. And yes, I know. Let's pull up the curtain a little bit. Yes, I know it's a cast member. I know it's not Mark Hamill. I know it's not 1977 in Tunisia. But for that moment, I have goosebumps. I felt like I was talking to Luke Skywalker. He just looked at me and we chatted. Again, I posted the video on Instagram as a reel, Facebook and X, and it was just awesome. And I don't always get into some of that. Of course, I like to be a goofball and a ham, but I didn't know what I was going to say to this guy, and it just became natural. He was very, very good. We talked about, I don't know if you could hear it on the video, but he complimented my jacket. I'm wearing the Levi's Star Wars denim jacket that I wear for some of the events, and I complimented him on his Jedi robes, and I'm laughing just because it's just such a fun, crazy thing to think about. And then I mentioned something about, I said, you built this, didn't you? And you made this lightsaber. He said, yes, I did. And I said, look, I don't want to bring up a sensitive topic, but I think your father would have been proud of you. And he said, you know what? I only have good memories of my father. And I thought that was just great. I didn't know how he was going to react to that. I wasn't trying to trip him up. I just, most of the things I say just kind of come out of my mouth anyway. But it was wonderful. I highly recommend Seasons of the Force just for that moment alone, because you can only meet Luke Skywalker at Disneyland at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. You can't meet him right now at the time of this recording in Florida at Hollywood Studios, and it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. It's so much fun. I've got some more coverage, but I wanted to talk about meeting Luke because I just really had a really magical experience, and that's what makes Disney so special. What they do better than anybody else is bring you those wonderful moments and memories that last a lifetime. And I'm very grateful, very fortunate that I'm able to do that. I'm very happy, very appreciative of Disneyland for inviting me to this. I'm very, very excited to be able to share it with my brother. It's just been a really good time. More to come. Talk soon, everybody. Hello again, everybody. As is tradition, I am on the way home from the airport, so that means it's time for a recap of this incredible Seasons of the Force media experience. Again, I'm your host, Dan Zehr, in case you weren't aware of that. It's been a whirlwind. I'm in the car with my brother, Sean. Hello. And we're excited. I think we feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. I'm not tired. I slept a lot on the plane, but you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about this incredible experience of Seasons of the Force. Let's just start at the beginning. We barely talked about it, but talk about your morning and the excitement you felt when we first got to California. And maybe, if you don't mind, sort of a recap, Sean, of your history with Disney World, because as I said earlier in the show, you're a Disney World expert.
Yeah, so this is my first time at Disneyland since 1979. I was 4 years old, so it's been a while. And yeah, it was kind of a blur, but to recap, it was amazing. Getting to stay at the Disneyland Hotel and walking over to downtown Disney, to Disneyland, California Adventure. It was just amazing. The first thing we did was we went to the web slinger ride, and that was really fun. I enjoyed beating you, Dan, in the web slinger. That was great. And then we went to the Cars ride, and that land is spectacular. I just was completely blown away. I felt like I was actually immersed in that land, which was great. And then I think we left there. Maybe we went back to the hotel. And then I know that evening we went back to Disneyland. And the first ride we went on was Mr. Toad, which I can tell you was my favorite growing up. And it's no longer in Florida, so I was super pumped to get to ride that. And yeah.
Yeah, and yes, you absolutely crushed me in web slingers. I was really excited to ride web slingers. I will say I enjoyed it. I don't know that I would wait longer than 20 minutes for it, but I'm extremely glad that I did it. Think Toy Story Mania, Midway Mania, except instead of blasting with a little trigger like a toy pop gun, you're extending your arms and your forearms, and you're imitating the motion for actually web slinging. and it wears you out, man. You got to get in web slinger shape. Props to Peter Parker for being able to do that. The fun thing for me about bringing you on this trip was that I knew how much you love Disney World, and you and your family have been there countless times, right?
Probably over 30, yes.
Yeah, it's your number one vacation spot for you and your family, and you love it. You love all things Disney, but you've never been to Disneyland since you were a kid. So essentially, this was the first time, and as Corey Clubb will tell you, and I know we've talked about on previous shows, I love being a tour guide for all things Disney. So it's been a blast to compare and take notes on all of those things. The Disneyland Hotel was spectacular. I thought it was really beautiful. It's almost like I didn't know what to expect. I expected it to be like an older hotel, or for some reason, or resort, and I don't know why I thought that, just because it's been there a long time, but they've refurbished it naturally, and I think in my mind I had it made up that it was going to be similar to the Walt Disney World resorts, which are also stunning in various degrees of enjoyment and excellence. But this is like the best of both worlds because it's nicer. We stayed in the brand new tower, Discovery Tower, is that what it was called? Yes. And it was gorgeous. Right outside of my window was a swimming pool and Trader Sam's, which we'll get to that in a second. And it's just very easy to get around. And one of the great things about Disneyland hotels is you just walk a very short way, and then you're in downtown Disney, and you walk probably about, I don't know, from end to end is probably about 8 to 10 minutes. And that's it. It's just one straight line full of more food, I think, than merchandise, but really enjoyable, especially in the evenings. As you said, we went to California Adventure, and we knew that the next day was the Disneyland Seasons of the Force event, so we thought, let's just enjoy that and see what that was like. It was very busy, very, very good. I had the honey lemonade that Lou Mangello talked about on WDW Radio. I enjoyed that. I had mac and cheese in a bread bowl, which was a lot of carbs, but tasty nonetheless. And it was fun, but we wanted to go over to Disneyland, so we did. As you said, we rode Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, checked out Pirates of the Caribbean, and just sort of enjoy the ambiance of that park. What was it like? As many times you've been down Main Street at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, what was it like for you to walk down this Main Street and see Sleeping Beauty Castle?
It's definitely a lot smaller than what Disney World was, but it's still really, really fun to see. One of the things that sticks out to me was obviously the Emporium. All the little penny arcade displays when you're walking down Main Street is fun. And then you've got the bakery, the Starbucks bakery, as you're walking around. And then they still have got I think it's the Casey's that you can get the hot dogs, the chili dogs, which we did not partake in, but it was fun to look at. And then just looking to the right and how close Tomorrowland was, and then on your left, Frontierland, and the Matterhorn. I can't say enough about Tiana's area with the French Quarter set up and the New Orleans Square. I was just blown away. One of the rides that really stuck out to me, Dan, was the Pirates ride. The Pirates ride at Disneyland it's really fun. It's really fun. I really enjoyed that. And then before we went, our mom had told us, you guys should eat at that Blue Bayou. And sure enough, we ate the Blue Bayou, and that's, you're sitting inside the Pirates, and you get to see how the boats go by. And it was just really a lot of fun. I just feel very blessed to get to go with you in this trip.
Yeah, it was great. I was really excited. I usually bug whoever I'm with incessantly about the differences between one version of a ride versus another version on the other coast. So luckily I didn't have to bug you about that. Or if I did, you were very gracious about not saying out loud how much of a pest I was, and that was fun. I appreciate that. Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean at Disneyland, it's the original. So many things here are originals. As you mentioned, Main Street, you still got the sign for the Penny Arcade and the Gypsy Fortune Teller in the front there. And then you still got on the right-hand side, if your back is to the entrance to Disneyland, you've got the classic theater in the round with 5 different screens showing classic Mickey Mouse cartoons.
The Magic Shop.
From the early days, and there's the Magic Shop on the corner. Whereas in Walt Disney World and on Main Street, it's the it's the sweet shop, the candy shop that has all the candies, and then it's got that custom popcorn area that's so tasty. But it's fun. It's fun to look at the differences. It's fun to enjoy it. We're going to take some time now to talk about the main reason we were here. Well, let's rewind. We went to Trader Sam's. I love Trader Sam's. It's the fact that it was that close to where we were staying as far as our actual room itself. The ambiance is just very relaxing. What did you think about Trader Sam's?
I thought it was really fun. I enjoyed. We had a few beverages, which was nice. The one that I had bourbon, and I can't remember what all was in it, but it was good. And then food-wise, I had the shrimp tempura, which was really good. And then just the ambiance. Like, I've been to the Trader Sam's in Florida, but I've never got to actually eat there. I've just kind of seen it. So this is kind of a fun experience to get to kind of hang out with Dan this trip with you and get to kind of experience that. What did you think?
I loved it. I had the tiki rum. That's the name. That's the actual name. I don't know if you have to sing it, but I did. It was marvelous. Just very nice ambiance. We had a terrific cast member that waited on us. Was that the last thing we did, and then we went back to the hotel? Or did we go to Disneyland? I don't remember.
We went back to Disneyland after that.
Oh yeah, because that's where we had dinner. Yeah. So the next day, we woke up, got some coffee at the Disneyland hotel. We made our way over to Disneyland. Wait, we went through Grand California first, right? California Adventure.
We did that at one point. Yeah, I think we walked around Disney Springs in the beginning, maybe.
Yeah, we walked around Disney Springs. Downtown Disney. Hard to remember that because it's so similar but so different. And then we spent the morning in Disneyland. We went to Fantasyland first, rode a lot of those rides, Alice in Wonderland. Oh yeah, we rode the monorail over to Disneyland. It's so unique because the monorail in Disneyland, it's a much more, like everything in Disneyland, it's much more of an intimate affair. It's smaller. You sit down. There's really there's really not any places, or you're not encouraged to stand there. And then it just takes you back to Tomorrowland.
You can't stand. You'd have to be very small to stand.
Yeah, I guess so. Like little kids, I'm sure probably could. But I don't recommend that. Children, hold on to your parents. Have a seat. And it's great. It gets you back there by the Finding Nemo submarine area, which is formerly known as 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with Captain Nemo. Really wonderful. And then we walked over to Hyperspace Mountain. I took a quick video in front of the old Hyperspace Lounge. Hyperspace Lounge, is that what it's called?
I think so.
I'm getting it all confused. You know what I'm talking about. The bay. The Star Wars Docking Bay. I think it's, Star Wars Docking Bay. Sure. We'll go with that. I can't remember. I'm driving. I can't look it up while I'm driving. You got to be safe, everybody. Safety first. So, that was closed, but Hyperspace Mountain was open. This is the overlay that they do at Disneyland. And so I haven't ridden, full disclosure, friends, I haven't ridden Space Mountain in Florida for probably 10, 15 years. I don't like drops. And drops are not my thing. I can go upside down, I can go fast, but I don't like that. But it was Star Wars. And I know that was part of the media event for Seasons of the Force. I had to experience it. So I told myself, you know what? It's going to be fine. The Force is with you. Just get on there and have a blast. The ride vehicles are different. In Florida, they're toboggan style. You sit back to back. Is it 2 to a car? 3 to a car?
There's 3.
3 to a car. This is two. There's 6 people. It's like 2 rows of 2, 3 rows of 2 for 6. And I got on it. I didn't look anything up. I knew what was going to happen. People say, what is it like, the Star Wars overlay for Hyperspace Mountain? It's Star Wars music. The entire time you see some TIE fighters going overhead, you hear Admiral Akbar, and that is, in essence, what it is. Let me tell you, friends, when you start on that first ramp, you go to light speed, and the John Williams music hits you. Goosebumps. Absolutely goosebump inducing. I know you love that too.
Yeah, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that ride. It in the beginning when you go up that hill and you hear that Star Wars music and you see all the ships and the lasers and it's a lot of fun. But there's no drops like in Florida, which is awesome. So there's a lot of like side to side. You got to keep your head straight.
I had no idea what was going to happen. I kept gearing up for a drop, but it never happened. There was no drop at Hyperspace Mountain, and so I was so happy, and I thought it was such a thrill. It might have been my favorite ride the entire day. It was just thrilling, and I liked it so much, so we rode it at the end of the evening. We started the day on Saturday or Friday with Hyperspace Mountain, and ended the day with it. It was great. And sandwiched in between that, we just ran all over the park. Haunted Mansion, Thunder Mountain Railroad. We did the Matterhorn. I know the night before you did Tiana's, what is it called? Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yeah, Tiana's Bayou.
So what, you love Splash Mountain. What was it like? And I have ridden Splash Mountain in California, but it was way, way, way before they did the overlay. How was the overlay for you? Because I know you like that movie.
So the Bayou ride was really fun. It's different setup though. The one that's at Florida, you're sitting in, it almost looks like a canoe, and you have to hold on to a silver bar to your right and to your left. And there's about 6 people in there with you, and I was surprised that the person behind me, their legs were wrapped around me. So that was kind of interesting. And we made some friends. But yeah, the ride is really great. They do a great job of showing Tiana and all the different characters and the music and the lighting. And I would tell you, though, that everybody that I heard was talking about being wet. Well, a rain poncho is not going to help you unless it's around your legs, because my legs felt like I had a shower. But yeah, it was just really a lot of fun. I was sorry, Dan, that you couldn't make there with me.
I was not sorry. If it was Star Wars related, I may have had to force myself to do it, but no way. That is too much of a drop for me. I've did it plenty of times, but sometimes you just reach a point where you're just like, I don't think there's enough coaxium in the tank for me to do that. So, it got to a point we went to Toontown, explored some things, had some lunch at the Blue Bayou that you mentioned earlier. And then it was time to head over to the Seasons of the Force media event. We went into Batuu. That's the first time you and I have been to Batuu together, which is kind of funny and ironic, considering we grew up with our love of this galaxy far, far away. Speaking of that, let's take a little pause. Every time I have a new guest on the show, you were on once, I think, a long time ago, after we saw The Force Awakens in movie theaters. So that was back in 2015. So it's been a while since you've been back on. Wait, were you on for Solo? I think you were on for Solo when we saw the Peoria Riverfront Museum.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah. But tell everybody listening about your history with Star Wars. And you can be honest, it's okay.
So my history with Star Wars would probably be that I really enjoyed Episode 4, 5, and 6 growing up as a child. I really liked playing with the toys with Dan when we were kids. That was a lot of fun. And then for me, after that, I didn't really think much about Star Wars. As I got older, I know when the newer movies had come back, episodes 1, 2, and 3, I was not super enamored with those 3 movies. But I do know that when they came out with the 7, 8, and 9 movies, I really thought that those were really a lot of fun. But I really kind of enjoyed getting to watch my brother, who has always loved Star Wars. And I remember always wanted to play with the toys. And I remember when we first moved in together in our apartment, that it would be a Friday night, and he would be like, hey, it's midnight, we should go to Walmart and check out the toys, because they just brought out the new toys. And I always thought, okay, I guess, yeah, let's do that. And you always would like to play like the Star Wars, like Trivial Pursuit or any sort of like information about Star Wars. But it wasn't a lot of fun to play with you because you always won, and I didn't really know a lot of the answers. But yeah, I've really just kind of enjoyed getting to watch you, Dan, just thrive in this environment of Star Wars and make it your own and give back to all these people who just really love it.
Well, that's very nice of you to say. I really appreciate that, and I love that you remember and have a fond memory of that. And I've always said, and longtime listeners of Coffee with Kenobi know I've always said Star Wars really for me is about the memories with your family and your friends and all the things that tie into that, which is fabulous. And speaking of memories, let's get back to Seasons of the Force. Went back, checked in for the media event. It was actually behind the walls to the right of the Millennium Falcon if you're facing it. Disney had it blocked off for members of the media. There were a couple of places. I got to talk with Michael Siglain, Chief Executive of Publishing for Star Wars. It was wonderful to see Mike, have him on. You heard him earlier. Then we had all of the authors of Star Wars: The High Republic. All of them were there. Cavan Scott, George Mann, Charles Soule, everybody. I'm Claudia Gray. Why am I blanking at everyone? I'm picturing their names. I know I said at the beginning of the show. And they were all wonderful. Talking to all of them at once was pretty cool. And then, of course, our buddy Matt Martin. Again, we talked about that. They had all these displays beautifully presented for you to photograph with name plates of the food and where you could find the food. Because not only can you eat at Docking Bay 7 in Galaxy's Edge, but you can go, of course, get a Ronto wrap at Ronto Roasters. In Tomorrowland, there's a lot of Star Wars food. It's all over the place. So that was great, and it helped you know. So there were a few times when I would look up my phone and I would look at the pictures of the food and I would say, okay, where is that in Disneyland? Let's go find that. One thing we couldn't get, which we really wanted to try, was the Yoda beignets, but the line for that was legitimately probably 45 minutes to an hour, and it was so popular that there was no option to mobile order, and that tells you that people love them. The Star Wars Death Star popcorn bucket, very, very cool. We got to see and photograph the Tauntaun popcorn bucket, and we know those things are so popular at all of the Disney theme parks. That was a great time. They also had all the merchandise displayed. I posted some reels and some images on Instagram, on X, and on Facebook, on Coffee with Kenobi's feeds. Also put together a lot of videos of some things. We got to ride. After that, it was probably about an hour or so to do that. Then we went around, ate in Docking Bay 7, and I had the Dewback fettuccine noodles. I believe that's what they were called. Again, I'm driving, so I can't look it up right now. And they are a seasonal item. I usually have the Tip Yip chicken at Docking Bay 7, but I had this fettuccine, and it was, frankly, it might be the best meal I had of all 3 days. The gumbo at Blue Bayou was great, but I loved it. It had a nice spice to it. The sauce was beautifully delicious. Is that even a word to describe food? It's hard to describe food. The noodles were just the perfect consistency. It was just so good, and it felt like I was eating something that was a little bit more, had more of the different colors, and of course the more colors you eat, the more healthy it is, and it had that. And you had some sort of a wrap. It was, how would you describe it?
It was called like a bao chicken wrap, and it had cucumber, and it had coleslaw, and it was kind of, the chicken was spicy, but the coleslaw and the cucumber made it kind of sweet. So it was actually very good. I really enjoyed it. I didn't even know that was a restaurant that I could actually go to. I always thought that was a building that I couldn't walk into because you had to have a reservation. So I was excited to go try something different.
And it had like it was almost like a not a toast like a taco shell. Why am I not thinking? Oh, that was the bao. Okay, there you go. See, as you might be able to tell, friends, I'm not necessarily the world's greatest chef.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are, with Dan Z, the podcast you're looking for. This is...
But I had a bite of yours, which you're kind enough to share. That was terrific. Then we went and rode Rise of Resistance. Got to go on Star Tours, and I think this is funny. Only one time in my life have I been the Rebel Spy. It was the day before I proposed to Deanna. And it was the first time I went on Star Tours since I did the overlay years ago, and I was Rebel Spy. Haven't been since. And then Sean said, hey, Elizabeth, who is Sean's daughter and my niece, she mentioned that if you move your head at a certain time when they're picking, you'll get picked. So I did it, and I got picked. I thought that was hilarious. But the funny thing was that I said, I hope I get to see the Andor stuff or the Mandalorian or Ahsoka. And Sean said, as long as I don't see the pod race, that's the only thing I ever see. And guess what the first thing was that we saw?
It was the pod racers.
That is called manifesting your reality. So we saw the pod racers. At the end, we saw Fett in the asteroid field, and Darth Vader comes on. And maybe I've seen that one. I don't recall. Sean apparently has seen it a lot. But that was great. We went back over to Galaxy's Edge to Batuu, and we got up on the balcony right outside of Docking Bay 7. Disneyland had cordoned off an area for the media and influencers to watch this brand new show. It's about 10 minutes long. It's a projection show that goes on the spires. Do you remember what it was called? I can't remember. I wrote it down. Imagining, because Batuu takes place between episodes 8 and 9 in the chronological Star Wars story. And the time between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens is 30 years. Time between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi is pretty instantaneous. Time between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker is 1 year. So Batuu, you're supposed to be living your Star Wars story, so you're taking place in that year between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker episodes 8 and 9. What's that? 4. Yeah, I gotcha. A little behind the scenes for driving to get something to eat on their way home. And so it's like this gentleman tells the story of Star Wars, and the imagery on the black spires, the projection, is second to none. It looks like the spires are crumbling. There's different weather that symbolizes different things happening in the story. It takes you through episodes 1 through 6. And then it projects images of the Star Wars saga as if they were cave paintings. And I got goosebumps. It sort of reinvigorated and reminded me of why I like this saga so much. And I was just overjoyed. And then we got to see the fireworks. I've never seen the fireworks fully on Batuu, because in Florida at Walt Disney World Hollywood Studios, they don't have fireworks in Batuu, in Galaxy's Edge. A lot of that is geography and location. But we got to see them there. It was a great way to end the evening. Just wonderful. Said goodbyes and thank yous to everyone. Then head over, did Hyperspace Mountain again. Did a little shopping on the way out, and to say we were tired would be an understatement. I walked over 22,000 steps. I think Sean was over 25,000 steps. And so for me, it was over 10 miles. And I felt it. But boy, did I feel good. It was such a blast. And I want to wrap this up by saying thank you to Disneyland for this invite to Seasons of the Force. Thank you to Mouse Fan Travel for helping to arrange this for us. I use Mouse Fan Travel for all of my booking, both professionally for Coffee with Kenobi and with my family. They made it so much easier. There was something we had to take care of at the front desk. I reached out to my Mouse Fan Travel contact. He fixed it for me right away. I didn't have to worry about a single thing, and that's why you use a travel agency. That's why I use MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, because they make it so much easier and convenient. So you can do the important things on your vacation, save money, and enjoy the experiences of the Disney theme parks. Always go to coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel. Let them know Coffee with Kenobi sent you. You can certainly get your no cost, no obligation quote and see what kind of magic they can help you create for you, your family, and your friends. Thank you again to Disneyland and Mouse Fan Travel, and a big thank you, Sean, for coming with me. You were such a great co-pilot. We even got to fly the Falcon together. That was a pretty special one. I had the best time hanging out with you, my friend, and very much looking forward to the future of Star Wars, the theme parks, and all things Zehr's.
Thank you again, Dan, for asking me. I had a lot of fun. Thank you to Disney and MEI Travel, like you mentioned, and Coffee with Kenobi. That was really, really a lot of fun. And
to the spires, my friends. We'll see you next time.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along. Move along.